Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Yes.
Okay, so another thing I have to say is that on your face, do you usually have a mustache, or you have a very kind of playful mustache goatee thing? So how long is this? Were you born with this facial hair, or were you?
Well, that was the first thing that came out.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, but
you have this
it used to be much longer.
You have this beautiful handlebar mustache. You have these really arresting eyes. You're standing on, let's see, the faces are, this looks like it's in Hong Kong with all these kids and stuff in costume.
You know what's cool?
Okay.
Is that what you see behind me on this image is actually what you see right now behind me here.
Oh, it's all these costumes.
Yeah, these are this set of costumes for this show,
okay.
which is in Beijing right now.
What's the show? It's like
it's called The Untrainable Dragon.
Yes, exactly. So dragons, it's kids, and it's mostly kids?
No, it's all the cast.
They're just short. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're meant to be looking very young, and they have makeup because the whole story is built on the How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Yeah.
And everyone knows it, and that's how they look. And all of those, they are all like teens.
Nice. So it's all in
the animation.
Okay, so you're holding up the camera. You've got a nice dark sort of beret. You've got the really stylish kind of shirt and jacket and vest. You've got the red ribbon, I guess, holding the pass, right? Behind you in very staged lighting, there's probably the crew or cast of about 80 or 100 people.
Yeah.
And there's like the props of like these amazing dragons, and behind you can see the lights, and it's really beautiful light of the alcoves with the scene. Okay. So why?
Why? That is actually to show then what I am doing.
Okay.
Because I am a part of it, and me and my team, our team, has created this show and all these costumes for this show, which is a brand new show.
Right.
And we've gotten into so many challenges with it, and so many an hour sleep night.
Oh, okay.
That was crazy. That was crazy, but it was very unique at the same time, because we were pushing our own limits and the limits of actually how precise that could, that could be created.
Right. Do you normally go to the cities to set up the costumes? Is that like a normal thing?
Yeah. The company, the costume production shops, they usually, because they're the ones that created it, right? And they know the techniques, how to handle it, how to dress, undress, wash it, take care of it, maintain, fix the stuff.
How long was this? So this was before COVID.
This was in the very, very middle of COVID.
Okay,
and
so
in China.
Yeah, so in China, of course, things were a lot more open.
In Beijing, it's particularly in Beijing, they are so strict to get into the city. But once you're in, basically you can almost not wear a mask.
Okay, yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
So that is why none of us really has a mask.
Right. Okay, so I've been to Beijing a couple of times. The one thing about these cities is the scale. Here comes a young man from Ukraine, imported into Beijing. I'm sure everybody's looking at you like, who is this like towering presence, whatever, so how does your feeling of a stranger in a strange land, or how do you kind of come to terms, because you're still quite young, so what were the impressions of going into, with China, everything's humongous. And so in terms of scale, in terms of impact, go back to that day. So can you remember what some of the feelings, some of the thoughts that you had?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because, it was partially a feeling of not even going into other country. It was like some sort of outer place, just some place. I can't tell like a planet, maybe partially, yes, because they have a lot of electrical vehicles, which is very, very cool. And even like public transport and all of this stuff, I was impressed actually. Maybe that's Beijing, maybe it's all over China, I'm not sure. But yeah, the scale is crazy. The style is also kind of crazy because it's sometimes odd. You know, how it's all mixed up and how they've tried to recreate all these kind of cities in these districts, which look very empty. But then you have this traditional Chinese architecture and it's all mixed up. So it's a bit like throwing you somewhere that you like what is going on here, you know? But yeah, it's like very stretched out. They have like enough land.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting, you know, this city with like 11 million people to be like so crowded, you know, because I'm coming from Hong Kong.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not at all.
At all. Yeah.
It was COVID times. It was like all this kind of stuff, but it wasn't like limiting people from going out or anything like this. So I was expecting there to be like huge crowds and like very busy, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a rough estimate that on your phone, on your computer, in your possession, you have 5,000 photos.
Well, I had 7, and I've just recently cleared it, and I have 5 now. 5. So how do you know?
5 what?
1,000.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
right.
Like 1,000 or something. Videos.
On average. Okay, yeah. I say to you, pick 4 photos. Okay. The first one, boom. The second one, what it does to me, it tells me very loud and clear your connection and love to drama, to performance, to theater, to design. Now, how does that tie back to, in terms of your growing up, what do performance, theater, design, all this stuff, where did that come from?
I guess, you know, I've been artistic my whole life, but I can't tell you that I'm like the best designer in the world or anything like this, you know, because I can also think critically and I can see who is clearly better than me and stuff like this. And my friend that I told you about, Joseph Koda, he is like probably the most creative person I've met in my life. But going back again in time, we're going back in time all the time.
Sure.
But I can tell you that I used to be a musician, and I am a professional musician. You can see my tattoo of trumpet, which is my instrument.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Very nice trumpet tattoo,
Yeah. So I used to play, but also then thinking even further back in time that I was like trying to fix my clothes, you know, like change it to the way that I want them to be, you know.
As an
particularly
expression.
My jeans, and also my mom was a seamstress, so we used to have a sewing machine, which was like a super cool, not cool, old Soviet Union kind of your feet powered machine, like Zinger, but not Zinger, like a ripoff. Which I was like struggling with, but also had a lot of fun, and I still was able to manage to use it.
Amazing.
To like alter my clothes or solder something or like find these little motors from toys or some things and like find battery blocks and try to like solder, you know, how to, where's the plus, where's the minus, like positive, negative, how to connect and stuff like this. No internet. You have to consider. So I was like figuring it out. Melting something, like stuff like this, you know, when positive to positive. They're not friends.
Of course. Okay.
And stuff like this. So it's like always in the way creating something, you know. I didn't realize, like, I did not consider myself as being super creative or anything like that, but I always was trying to alter something, to create something, to minimize something, to be like, oh, it's not precise. Oh, it's not the way I'd like it to be. So I would like chip off or cut off some parts I didn't like that would be like ruining the image for me. And then suddenly it's just a piece of crap after all, and I throw it away because it's just unusable.
I understand that for sure. So it's a really strange kind of...
It's bonkers.
No, but it's a strange excuse for us to meet and talk, right? So the reason why we meet and talk is precisely why I'm like, okay, the kind of person I am is if there is something scary or if there's something challenging or if there's, you know, I go into, right? Some people go away. It's like the avoidance, right? So in my mind, because I was so affected and distressed and shocked by what's happening, and I have Ukrainian friends, and I've exchanged with them, and it's like the one word that is consistent is what a nightmare. Like it's just a fucking nightmare. But then my thing is, well, I'm going to go towards, or I'm going to exchange with people who are deeply rooted in that very real, scary... So, what city did you grow up in?
I was growing up in Lutsk, which is west part of Ukraine. It's very, very close to Belarus and Poland.
Right.
So it's like, northwest.
Right. I've seen that city in the news.
Really? Yeah, well...
off and on. I mean, it's not a flashpoint, but I have seen it.
Yeah. We did have. That's just because we had like a couple of times a couple rockets striking like airport, like a military air base. It was happening, but I can tell you, even with this, I'm very lucky just because most of my family lives on the west of Ukraine. And it's just something that I don't really need to be worried about all the time. Yeah. That makes my mind kind of a bit more untied to be worrying about Ukraine as a whole and all the political and the war that's happening, rather than being cautious about my family in the first place and then, was the rest. So, I can tell you I'm lucky. And also I've seen my side of Ukraine kind of. It's not very good when people are separating like east of Ukraine and west of Ukraine. It's all the same country. Right. But just because of historical things happening, it happened that, the west is always kind of was going towards the west, towards the democratic world and European Union. And the east was kind of gravitating towards Russia. Right. Because it was heavily influenced by Russia. Yeah. And it sounds very strange, but what is beautiful and great about this war is that there is no more West and East. Right. Each and every Ukrainian is the same Ukrainian. No matter where. Right. And this is something that after this is over and after our victory, this is what we're going to carry on. Got it.
Okay. Now, if you don't want something to be in, if you accidentally say something like, that bastard Putin, it's fine.
No, he can fuck himself.
Exactly.
I don't give a shit,
No, exactly. Okay. I think we're speaking the same freaking language. You want to go to the next photo?
Because you see here, I have these cards from Ukrainian Society of Hong Kong, and we have an official message, and obviously, like, we are living here, and we are considering what's going on and how we have to represent things. But we're talking here about myself and personally about what I feel. And I seriously, I can tell you whatever I feel up to the very far extent.
Yeah, it's this like, in a way, it's like, it's living, well, sort of like when you go into Beijing, when you go into China, your brain kind of does, okay, I'm going into China. Now there's like a new set of rules. There's a new code. There's a new, filter, a new perception, whatever you want to call it. Okay, these are just the house rules have changed. Fine. You come into Hong Kong, the house rules have changed. Again, fine. You go to the US, different house rules, fine. But I think it's kind of surprising how much and very quickly the conversation all of a sudden totally changed. You know what I mean? Suddenly the perception really kind of shifted. Like for you, it's been being connected to Ukraine, it's been many more years because you actually have more of a connection. But certainly I'd say the past, 3 months has had a certain, I don't know if you felt a certain shift in temperature compared to what was before. I don't know.
Yeah, well, definitely. It's weird, but now every human being with the brain has to realize, and also with eyes and ears, has to realize what is going on. And we have to call things by their name.
Yes.
And now you can't say, actually Hitler was a good guy, he was like doing something. Right. It wasn't like all this black and white and all this kind of stuff. Nobody says that because it's not true. Exactly. He was killing people, he was a piece of shit. Yeah. And now we have a new one. Yeah. Which is in very many ways even worse. Yeah. And I'm gonna call him a piece of shit. Yeah. And Huilo, actually, that's his real name. Okay. Putin Huilo is a very famous phrase that many people have to know what that means in these days. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah. Dude, listen, I really appreciate your energy and your warmth. And I want to see the next photo. Is that okay? Of course.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Tuning it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.